It's Thursday evening and I have a long weekend off, so I'm going to try an attempt at a reading vlog. So if you're seeing this, it means I was successful. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna try and kill two birds with one stone because I feel like there are some things I need to talk about before we go forward with this reading vlog. So I'm not looking at you, I'm gonna be looking at the mirror to see what I'm actually doing. I really love watching reading vlogs. Well, I guess we're gonna deal with the drilling as well. Reading vlogs. They are my favorite way to consume booktube content these days because I feel like they're so chill. I don't know, it's just like something really easy to watch for me, and I enjoy the long form thoughts on books. To me, it's a more satisfying experience of getting book content, and it's something I've wanted to do myself, hence why I'm trying it now. However, I, as a reader, am not someone who is made for reading vlogs because I am the type of person that reads 20 books at a time. That's not an exaggeration, I really am that person. So I don't know how interesting it would be to watch me spend a weekend reading 10 pages of 20 different books. I'm going to try and keep to maybe a couple of books in this reading vlog. I'm making no promises. The reason why I like to read like 20 books at a time is because I'm a mood reader. Having 20 books that I'm reading from at any given moment gives me the free range to read at any given moment, regardless of what mood I'm in. I know a lot of people struggle with reading multiple books at once. I don't have that problem. I don't ever get information mixed up. I don't know, my brain is just very good at compartmentalizing the stories and keeping them contained. So I don't have the issue of forgetting things or mixing things up. Like, it's just not how my brain works. And also, the reason why I don't like to read one book at a time is because like sometimes I'll pick up a book that's like really emotionally draining, and that book would take me like maybe 3 or 4 months to read. So if I only read one book at a time, that's gonna be me having read like one book in 4 months. I don't want to be that person. I do, like, generally speaking, read more than that. Actually, in my first quarter wrap up, I talked about how one of my goals this year was to focus more on quality rather than quantity. And looking back on that, I've realized the flaw in my own logic. My thought process is this: I will never be able to read every single book that I want in my lifetime. Like, my lifetime is not enough time to read all the books that I want. So having the thought of, oh yeah, I'm just gonna focus on quality is poor wording for that particular goal. The only thing that I meant with that is to be more selective and to be more intentional with what I pick up, so that there is a higher percentage of books that I end up enjoying having read than not. Not necessarily that I want to read less, because that's definitely not the case. Like, I still want to maintain reading 100 books a year minimum. It gives me anxiety knowing that I won't be able to read everything that I want, and obviously that's just a fact of life, but I'm trying to be a little rebel. So that's the kind of reader I am. I'm probably going to be reading 5 different books in this reading vlog. We'll just see how it goes. So last night I started listening to The Lovely Bones. I have the physical book on my nightstand, but I got the audiobook from my library, so I'm listening to it on audio, and I'm like 60 pages in, I'd say. Like, I'm on chapter 4, 5, something like that. So far I'm enjoying it. It's very slow. I mean, it feels weird saying I'm having a good time reading a book when the main plot of the story is the narrator of the book is a girl who was raped and murdered in the very first chapter of the book. And essentially, she is narrating the story as a ghost. She's essentially watching over her family, trying to get answers of who killed her. That's what the story is going to be about. I'm hoping that we'll get answers at the end. I don't know what this is gonna look like for her. She's obviously already dead, so I don't know where we can go from here. But I guess we'll find out. So I'll update you as I read more. Also, this morning I read about 40 pages of, it's called To the Warm Horizon, with Cindy here on YouTube is doing an Asian readathon in May, and I've been trying to read as much literature by Asian authors as I can. That was on my TBR. It's a book about a global pandemic. Definitely vastly different from the way we're experienced the pandemic here. People have abandoned their homes and they've gone into the wilderness to potentially escape the threat of the virus. And in the book, the people don't have information of how the virus is spread. I'm having a good time reading the book because I'm really enjoying the use of language. Like, it's somewhere in between like lyrical and atmospheric prose and basic. So it's like somewhere in the middle on that spectrum. I am enjoying it. I like how the sentences are structured. I think this is a really good translation as well. Like, the translator did a really good job. Another book that I've been consistently reading throughout the month is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Vuong. And I've been really taking my time reading that one. I mean, first of all, because for me it's a very difficult subject. It's because I also am an immigrant child, so I can relate to a lot of the discussions in that book. It's not a book that I can just sit down and read in one go. You know, I typically read a couple of pages and then call it a day. I mean, I am really enjoying it because the use of language is excellent. Don't quote me on it, but I have heard that Vuong has a background in poetry. That would explain a lot. He has a lot of control over language, and I've been having a really good time just soaking it all in. I think this book is perfect for taking it slow and reading it a little bit at a time. Oh, sorry, I didn't even tell you anything about On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I feel like it's such a popular book now on YouTube that I just assume you would know. I would call it a hybrid of memoir and literary fiction because it is Vuong writing a letter to his mother, and the only reason why he's doing it is because he knows that she won't be able to read it. So he's basically pouring his heart out of his experiences and his feelings. Talks about his experiences of his family having immigrated from Vietnam after the Vietnam War to America, his experiences as an immigrant child, and just working and all the things that you go through. He's also talking about like sexuality a lot and things like that. So it's thematically it's very heavy. Should I tell you about all the other 20 books I'm reading at the moment? Might as well. I'm also in the middle of Luster. It was nominated for Women's Prize for Fiction, and I got it as an ebook from my library. I'm on chapter 3 at the moment. It is about a woman who starts dating a man who is married, and she knows this, and the man's wife knows this. She has given her husband rules of what that whole relationship is gonna look like. It's a very interesting dynamic. I'm on chapter 3 and the wife and the mistress had met. I don't know what I feel about this book yet. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it. I find the narration very hypnotic, but it's also very unsettling. Like, I don't like being in her thoughts, and it touches on a lot of different subjects as well. Not only this weird dynamic, but also just the main character's experience of being a black woman in America, on like the corporate world of being a working woman in New York specifically, about poverty. Maybe I am supposed to be unsettled. I find it very fascinating how she thinks, and I have a lot of empathy for her. I don't know. I'll keep you updated. I'm gonna stop here. That's enough, because I'm probably not gonna read any of the other books I'm in the middle of in this particular reading vlog. Give me a minute. It's literally 8:30. I cannot believe that they are disturbing my peace like this. That's me done. So on the agenda today is I'm going to town. I need to buy some trainers. I'm going to listen to The Lovely Bones whilst I'm there. See you in the next clip. So I'm going to do a little book haul because I got some books when I was in town. I shouldn't have, but it happened. The first book I got is The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I got this book because July is my mum's birthday month and mine, and I asked her for recommendations of 5 books that she would like me to read. This was one of them, and I was gonna read those 5 books for her birthday month. I'm gonna do the same thing for my sister's birthday month as well, which is in September. I'm gonna read 5 books that she recommends me. I don't know, I'm gonna try something. I'm probably gonna make that into a reading vlog as well. The next book I got is this chunky boy, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. It's massive. It's absolutely ginormous. If it came to it, I could use it as a weapon to kill someone. I could. Very much intimidated by this chunky boy, but I would very much love to read this as well. Knowing me and how I read books, it might take me an entire year to read. It might take longer than a year to read. And to be honest, a year is not that bad. It's taken me longer to read some books. The last one that I got is Shiver by Junji Ito. It is a graphic novel of collected short stories. He is apparently the master of horror. That's why I got it. It's pretty popular around booktube these days, so I'm gonna give this a try. And that's my little book haul. So on my way to town, I was listening to Can you stop buying me? Excuse me. I was listening to The Lovely Bones, and I'm starting to have mixed feelings about it. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish listening to it, and then I'll kind of regroup and see what I think. I still like the writing style, and I still like how it's written, and I understand what it's going for, what it's trying to achieve. I'm just not entirely sure if how do I phrase this? I'm not entirely sure if for this particular story this approach is what I like. Does that make sense? I'll get back to you when I finish it. Hello. So I finished listening to The Lovely Bones yesterday, and I'm very glad I slept on it because I don't feel as passionately about it today as I did yesterday. I'm like shaking because I'm so frustrated. Was that the point? Who liked this book? Why? I'm not happy. I was not happy with the ending at all. I was very confused. I felt cheated out of my time. The ending was not satisfying and it didn't wrap up in a nice way. I'm not entirely sure like how I want to frame my thoughts around this book. The only thing that makes sense to me about this book is if the point of it was to show that evil people can do evil things and can get away with them for the rest of their lives with no repercussions. So if that was the point of the book, it achieved that goal. However, I as a reader, generally speaking, don't particularly enjoy reading books about injustices because it makes me very frustrated. And you know, when I'm going into fiction, I don't necessarily want these kinds of stories. I would like for there to be a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't necessarily have to have a happy ending for it to be satisfying, and this ending didn't work for me. It was not satisfying because we essentially, after the tragedy happened at the very beginning, after the murder of the little girl, the story was watching her family fall apart. Even though from the very beginning we knew who the murderer was, and throughout the story we got the information of why he did it, at the end the family and the girl didn't get justice, and they didn't get the set in stone legal proof that this was the murder and this is who was responsible for it. So in that regard, I was very not happy. If you are someone who might not enjoy this type of story either, I wouldn't recommend to pick it up. I give it 2 stars at the very end. Initially I gave it 3 stars because the saving grace of this... Excuse me. Oh my god. The saving grace of this book was the writing style. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think Alice is an excellent author. Her writing has this like airiness to it. It has this sense of whimsy, and it makes sense in the context because our narrator is a child. Like, am I glad I read this book? Sure, because I own it. It's not a book I'm going to be rereading. This is not a book I'm going to keep. I'm going to leave it on my community bookshelf. Those are my thoughts on The Lovely Bones. This morning I also finished To the Warm Horizon and I gave it 5 stars. I adored this book. I breezed through it. Like I said, my original thoughts are staying. I think the language and the writing style is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is a really excellent translation. This book is going into my Hall of Fame books because it met all of the criteria that I have for it to be a Hall of Fame book. Those things being, it is an end of the world scenario, it is a snow setting, and it has family dynamics. Brownie points if they're wholesome. Some of them were, some of them weren't in the book, and it's a drastically different portrayal of a pandemic in the book to what we've experienced. This pandemic hit and the world in the book fell apart. People were going out into the wilderness, driving away, staying into like these tight packs with their families. War was raging everywhere. Violence broke out. Just all of the things. The cast of characters that we're following, they're all focusing very much on survival. But even in that survival, there's still a lot of time to be existential. They're thinking about what it means to be alive, why people die, what is the point of all of this. They think back on their own lives, how their lives in the past don't even feel real in context as to what's going on. I just think it was a very good exploration. A lot of the sentiments I can relate to. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief and short about To the Warm Horizon. It's an excellent book. If this sounds like something you'd be interested, I do recommend it. However, trigger warnings for rape and violence. So on the agenda today is I'm gonna go for a walk because it's not raining yet. I'm probably gonna listen to music and zone out for a bit. And in the evening, we're gonna go to a friend's house. We're gonna have a Eurovision watch party. So that's exciting. Looking forward to that. I'll see you in the next clip. So I'm back to talk about To the Warm Horizon because I feel like I didn't do it justice. There are some things I forgot to mention that I would like to talk about, and it seems kind of silly in retrospect because one of the things is like the core of the story, which is a female-female romance, and it just goes to show how even in the most dire of circumstances, people are still able to find love and romance, and they are able to persist and get through everything that's thrown at them. Just shows how resilient we are as a people. It was nice to read about this hope. The name of the book is To the Warm Horizon, and there is a conversation between two characters in the book. A girl named Joy asks her older sister Dory, "Where are we going?" And the older sister Dory tells her that they are going to search for summer, you know, because the setting of the book is through winter, and she tells her younger sister that they are going in search for summer, that they are going towards the warm horizon. And it's just a metaphor for hope, that things will get better, that there is something better out there, and it makes them feel like it's not for nothing, that there is something out there that's going to help them get through, that people will get back on their feet. Again, I implore you to pick up this book. I think it's excellent. Excuse me, mind your tail. Mind your tail. Excuse me, mind your tail, please. Thank you. Tell me about the book that you're reading right now.
I'm reading Heaven Official's Blessing.
Oh, I thought you were going to be reading something different.
I'm reading like 5 different books, but that's the only one I remember right now.
How is it this time around?
It's good.
Is it better the second time?
Yeah, things make more sense the second time, to be honest. Because you already kind of know. And there's little hints that he knew who the 2 officials were from the very beginning. Because he's like... And also there's like more hints that he likes Sang Lang from the very beginning. And not like towards the end, after they've started to know each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
My eyes are blinking and I don't know what is happening. I can control it, don't wanna end it. There's no one here and I don't care, I feel it's safe to dance alone.
Olivia Eurovisia. Kažkas iš šitų 3
From the public.
Šveicarija iš žiūrovų gauna Eurovizijos dainų konkursą.
Hello, so it's Sunday and I'm going to close out this reading vlog because I haven't done any reading today and I'm not going to for the rest of the day. I was watching horror movies because I'm feeling a little sensitive from last night. I don't have a way to end this video because no thoughts had empty, but I hope you have enjoyed this video and I'll see you when I see you. Take care.